The government assigned me a husband. Marcus, the heir to a top-tier wealthy family. Rumor had it he was aloof, abstinent, and didn't entertain women. On the day we got our marriage certificate, his face was frozen, and he was a man of few words. Yet, I distinctly heard a wildly flirty male voice spamming my mind. "Ah, my wife is so soft and smells so good. I want to kiss her." Beep, my phone screen lit up, and a bold, red notification popped up. "Dear Grace, in accordance with the Compulsory Act, the system has matched you with a partner with 100% compatibility. Please bring your ID and birth certificate to the county's office at 3 p.m. today to register your marriage. Failure to comply will result in legal consequences. I, Grace, an ordinary jewelry designer, was thus forcibly married off by the state." I tapped on the notification details, and a passport photo stood out. The man had deep-set eyes, a high-nose bridge, and tightly pressed lips. His entire demeanor exuded an icy aura that warned others to keep their distance. Marcus. His name, Marcus, was one I knew well. He was the head of the Vance, a business magnate who regularly graced the covers of business magazines. Rumor had it he was ruthless, decisive, and so unapproachable that not even a female mosquito would dare to come near him. How could such an unattainable figure be 100% compatible with me? Had the system made a mistake? With a nervous heart, clutching my ID and birth certificate, I arrived punctually at the county's office entrance. A black Rolls-Royce silently glided to a stop in front of me. The car door opened, and a long leg, clad in dress pants, stepped out. Marcus in person was even more intimidating than in his photo. He merely stood there, and the air around him seemed to freeze. He gave me an indifferent glance and uttered 2 words, "Let's go." His voice, like him, was chillingly cold. I quietly followed behind him, feeling like a poor wretch being led to the gallows. Photos, Signatu. Res, stamps. Throughout the entire process, he didn't say a single word, his expression as unchanging as a millennia-old iceberg. It wasn't until the clerk handed us 2 vibrant red marriage certificates that he finally showed a glimmer of reaction. He extended his well-defined, bony hand and took the marriage certificates. The moment his fingertips touched the red booklet, a wildly flirty male voice, completely at odds with his aloof demeanor, exploded in my mind without warning. "Ah, I'm married. My wife and I got our marriage certificate. My wife's fingers are so fair and slender, they looked so beautiful when she signed. I want to hold them." I jolted violently, almost dropping the certificate in my hand. I looked up at Marcus in shock. He still wore that expressionless facade, but a suspicious blush seemed to creep up his earlobes. My wife looked at me. Did she fall in love with me at first sight too? She's so adorable, her skin is so fair, her eyes are like a fawn's. I really want to hold her close and cuddle her. I was speechless. The sip of water I had just managed to swallow almost shot out. I stared in astonishment at the agile, stern-faced man before me. These were his inner thoughts? The contrast was way too big. The clerk, perhaps a little awkward because of the strange silence between us, smiled and said, "Congratulations to you both, happy wedding." Marcus nodded in response. He, happy wedding. My wife, happy wedding to us. I bit hard into my palm to keep myself from laughing aloud. Leaving the county's office, Marcus finally spoke up again. "I'll have assistant drive you." "Where do you live?" I told him my address. "So my wife lives there, it's quite close to my company." "No way, I have to get my wife to move in with me. How can newlyweds live apart?" Before I could even process this immense amount of information, I saw Marcus pull out his phone and make a call. He spoke into the phone, his tone leaving no room for argument. "Daniel, go to Ms. Grace's place and help her move her things to Summit Manor." After hanging up, he looked at me, his voice still icy. "Move in. We're married." I looked at his straight face, but my mind was filled with all his wild internal thoughts. I was utterly bewildered. This married life might not be as difficult as I imagined. Summit Manor was Arcadia City's most exclusive residential area, with detached villas and tight security. My luggage was quickly brought in by assistant and a few bodyguards, neatly stacked in the living room on the first floor. Marcus stood at the top of the stairs on the second floor, looking down at me as if assessing an object. "The master bedroom is the first one on the left on the second floor. Your things, you can unpack them yourself." He paused, then added, "My study is on the right. You're not allowed in without permission." With that, he turned and entered his study, closing the door with a bang. I pursed my lips. What a bossy attitude. But the next second, his inner thoughts drifted subtly into my mind again. Woo-woo, was I too harsh just now? Will my wife think I'm overbearing? I should be gentler with her. But I don't know how. My mom said boys are more attractive when they're cool and aloof. It's so hard to pretend. My study is full of my collectibles. Will my wife think I'm childish if she sees them? No, I have to hide them quickly. I stood rooted to the spot, trembling from trying to hold back my laughter. So this was the legendary contrast cuteness? In a great mood, I started unpacking, hanging my clothes one by one into the master bedroom's huge walk-in closet. The other half of the closet was filled with Marcus's suits and shirts, uniformly black, white, and gray, as uninteresting as the man himself. My wife is unpacking her clothes. They're all so beautiful and smell so nice. I really want to secretly grab one and smell it. My hand trembled, and I nearly dropped the dress I was holding. What on earth was this man hinking? That evening, after I showered, I found Marcus already seated at the dining table. The long dining table was laden with an abundant spread of dishes, and they were all spicy. I was stunned. I remembered clearly reading in a business magazine interview that Marcus didn't eat spicy food, his palate was extremely bland. Seeing me standing still, he raised an eyebrow. Eat. My wife, sit down. Why are you standing? Don't you like these dishes? I specially had the chef make them to your taste. I secretly peeked at your takeout orders. You love spicy food the most. A wave of warmth washed over me. I sat opposite him and took a bite of the spicy stew with my chopsticks. It tasted exactly like my favorite restaurants. You don't eat spicy food, do you? I asked, feigning casualness. Marcus paused mid-chopstick, then, without changing his expression, put a piece of beef drenched in chili oil into his mouth. Occasionally, I like to change things up, he said calmly. Hiss, so spicy. It's killing me. But my wife is watching me, I can't back down. Men have to be able to eat spicy food. Watching his lips turn red from the spice and his hand tremble slightly, I finally couldn't hold it in and burst out laughing. He snapped his head up to look at me, his eyes showing a hint of annoyance and helplessness at being found out. My wife is smiling. She looks so beautiful when she smiles, her eyes curving like crescent moons. Did she find out I can't eat spicy food? How embarrassing. Has my tall, impressive image in her mind just shattered? Suppressing my laughter, I pulled out a tissue and handed it to him. Don't force yourself if you can't handle it. There should be milk in the kitchen. His face flushed visibly. Life together, under Marcus's outwardly aloof yet inwardly flirty harassment, was chaotic yet sweet. He left for work promptly at 7:30 a.m. every day and didn't return until after 10 p.m. Apart from at the dining table, we had almost zero interaction. Why? His overly active inner thoughts were constantly making their presence known. My wife wore a white dress today, like a fairy descending to earth. My wife is watering flowers on the balcony, the sunlight shining on her hair. I really want to hug her from behind. My wife is watching that male celebrities show again. That guy isn't as handsome as me, and his abs aren't as hard. What's so good about him? Listening to his jealous inner monologue, I rolled on the sofa, laughing. One day, I was sketching designs at my studio when suddenly, a torrential rain poured down outside. I'd forgotten my umbrella and was wondering how to get home when my phone rang. It was Marcus. His cold voice came through the receiver. Where are you? I told him my address. Stay put. With that, he hung up. 10 minutes later, that familiar Rolls-Royce pulled up downstairs from my studio. Marcus stood in the pouring rain, holding a black umbrella, his figure tall and straight like a pine tree. He walked up to me and held the umbrella over my head. Let's go. I nodded and followed him into the car. The car was silent throughout the drive. I secretly glanced at him and noticed his left shoulder was completely soaked. The umbrella had been almost entirely tilted towards my side. My wife didn't get wet, did she? Good. Hiss, my shoulder's cold, but it's worth it for my wife. My heart felt as if it had been soaked in warm water, soft and warm. Back home, just as I was about to grab a towel, my foot slipped. Ah! I gasped, about to make intimate contact with the ground. Just as I was about to fall, a strong arm suddenly wrapped around my waist, pulling me back. My entire body crashed into a firm, yet cool, embrace. His crisp cedar scent mingled with the dampness of the rain, enveloping my senses. Damn it! Is my wife okay? It's all my fault. The floor tiles in this house are too slippery. I'll have them replaced tomorrow. All of them with non-slip ones. My wife is so soft, her waist is so slender, it feels so good to hold her. I'm done for. I was stunned speechless. My face instantly flushed crimson. I could feel, through the thin fabric, a certain part of his body undergoing an indescribable change. I stiffened in his arms, not daring to move. Marcus's breathing also grew heavier. He held me, not letting go for a long moment. The air was thick with a palpable tension. Can you let me go now? I whispered, my voice trembling. He seemed to snap back to reality, letting go as if electrocuted, stepping back a large stride to put a safe distance between us. Be careful. He mumbled that and awkwardly rushed upstairs, locking himself in his room. I stood rooted to the spot, listening to his inner thoughts, which were still crystal clear even though he had run off. I'm going crazy. What was I just thinking? I actually had a reaction to my wife. I'm not human. I'm a beast. Calm down, Marcus, you need to calm down. You're an aloof alpha CEO. You can't be such a beast. I leaned against the wall, laughing so hard I couldn't straighten up. This man was unbelievably adorable. After that accident, Marcus started subtly avoiding me. Though his inner thoughts were still highly active, he himself seemed to wish he could be 800 meters away from me. That was until I ran into some trouble with my studio. The landlord of my rented studio suddenly wanted to double the rent. This was clearly an opportunistic move, taking advantage of a young woman like me. I was furious and about to consult a lawyer when my phone chimed. It was a text message from Marcus. What's wrong? I was startled. How did he know something had happened to me? Your dot. Then I remembered I had been so angry that I'd posted a complaint on my WeChat moments. I didn't expect him to actually see it. I briefly explained what happened. Don't worry, I'll handle it. His reply was as concise as ever. But I heard the tumultuous drama raging in his mind. How dare he bully my W? Ife? Does that landlord not want to make a living in Arcadia City anymore? Daniel. Investigate. I want him bankrupt within 3 minutes. Before I could reply, he called his assistant. His decisive, no-nonsense attitude made me fully understand what an alpha CEO truly was. Half an hour later, the landlord called me, his voice wailing. Not only did he retract the rent hike, but he also offered to lower the rent, begging me to show mercy. I hung up, a mix of emotions swirling in my heart. Was this the benefit of having power and influence? That evening, Marcus, uncharacteristically, didn't work late and came home on time. He had changed into loungewear, shedding some of his corporate sharp edge for a more domestic gentleness. Is the matter resolved? He asked. Yes, thank you. I thanked him sincerely. He grunted in response, said nothing more, and lowered his head to eat. My wife thanked me, she's so polite. You don't have to thank me, I'd do anything for you. My wife seems a bit unhappy today. Was she scared? I should comfort her. How do I comfort her? I don't know how. Maybe I'll tell her a joke? Once upon a time there was a mountain, and in that mountain there was a temple. No, that's too corny. Listening to his clumsy inner monologue, I couldn't help but curve my lips into a smile. Marcus, I called him. He looked up, a puzzled expression on his face. You don't have to do all this for me. We're just married by agreement. As soon as I finished speaking, I saw his face instantly fall. He clutched his chopsticks tightly, veins bulging on the back of his hand. Married by agreement? She actually thinks we're just married by agreement? My heart hurts so much, like it's being pricked by needles. Grace, you heartless woman. I've been so good to you, and you only see me as an agreement partner? I was utterly bewildered by his sudden sad inner monologue. Wait. Big guy, wasn't it you who said we'd have a prenuptial agreement on the first day we got our marriage certificate? What kind of act was this now? He abruptly stood up, his chair scraping loudly across the floor. I'm full. He uttered that coldly and went upstairs without looking back. Watching his desolate back and listening to his heartbroken inner thoughts, I fell into deep contemplation. Had I said the wrong thing? As Marcus, I had to attend the Vance's annual gala. I changed into a wine-red spaghetti strap gown that perfectly accentuated my graceful figure. The person in the mirror was radiant and captivating. My best friend Chloe exclaimed in admiration, Grace, you look absolutely stunning. You'll definitely outshine everyone tonight. That iceberg Marcus, won't he just melt on the spot when he sees you? I gave a wry smile. Melt? I'd be lucky if he didn't freeze me to death. Since I'd blurted that out last time, he hadn't spoken a single word to me for 3 whole days. His inner thoughts, however, were quite active, performing a daily drama of the abandoned husband whose wife left him. At the annual gala, glasses clinked, and elegant figures mingled. I linked arms with Marcus, and the moment we appeared, we became the center of attention. Is that Mr. Marcus's wife? She's truly a goddess descended to earth. I heard they were matched by the state. Their luck is incredible. I could feel countless gazes fixed on me, some admiring, some envious. The man beside me, however, remained expressionless throughout, as if I were just an emotionless prop. But his inner thoughts betrayed him. My wife is absolutely gorgeous today. Who picked this dress? It's too revealing. No, I have to burn it when we get back. Where are all those men looking? Do they want me to gouge out their eyeballs? No, I have to hide my wife, not let them see her. Suppressing a laugh, I whispered in his ear, Mr. Marcus, control your expression. You're about to crush my arm. He tensed up, and his grip indeed loosened slightly. My wife spoke to me. She smells so good. IW. And to kiss her. I was speechless. Seriously, man, get a grip. A slick, flashy rich second-generation heir walked over, holding a drink and ogling me. This must be Mrs. Marcus, right? I've long admired you. My name is Chad. May I have the honor of buying Mrs. Marcus a drink? I was about to refuse when Marcus already stepped in front of me. He was a full head taller than Chad, his powerful aura instantly overwhelming the other man. My wife doesn't drink, he said, his voice as cold as ice. Chad's face went from pale to flushed, and he walked away sheepishly. How dare he hit on my wife? Walton, right? I'll make sure you disappear from Arcadia City by tomorrow. I silently lit a candle for Mr. Chad. Of all people to provoke, he just had to provoke this jealous man. Midway through the annual gala, I went to the restroom. When I came out, however, a woman blocked my path. The woman wore a bespoke gown, her makeup exquisite, but her gaze towards me was full of hostility. Your Grace? I recognized her. She was Ashley, a rising star who, rumor had it, had been relentlessly pursuing Marcus. Can I help you? I asked coolly. I advise you to be smart and voluntarily leave Marcus, she said haughtily. A commoner like you isn't worthy of him. We're a perfect match, destined for each other. Her remarks made me laugh with annoyance. First of all, Marcus and I are legally married, protected by law. Secondly, whether you're worthy of him or not isn't up to you to decide. You. Ashley's face turned pale with fury. Just then, Marcus came looking for me. He saw the two of us and frowned slightly. Ashley immediately put on a pitiful expression and lunged towards Marcus. Marcus, I just wanted to be friends with Ms. Grace, but she seems to have misunderstood me. I watched her performance with a cold gaze. Marcus, however, didn't even spare her a glance. He walked straight to my side and naturally took my hand. Let's go home. How dare she bully my wife? Ashley, right? Fie. Starting tomorrow, I don't want to see any news about this person anywhere. He led me past Ashley, not even bothering to give her a look. I could clearly hear Ashley's heartbroken gasp. But my heart pounded uncontrollably, warmed by the touch of his palm and that incredibly domineering inner thought. After the incident at the annual gala, Marcus and my relationship seemed to have eased considerably. Though he still maintained an icy exterior, he at least was willing to talk to me now. To test him further, I decided to make a move. That evening, I carried a professional book on jewelry design and knocked on his study door. Come in. I pushed the door open and saw him sitting behind his desk, wearing gold-rimmed glasses and intently looking at documents. Under the light, his profile was sharply defined, appearing both refined and ascetic. Why is my wife here? She actually came to find me herself. Ah, I'm so excited. She's holding a book. Is she going to ask me a question? I must perform well and let her see my knowledgeable side. Suppressing a laugh, I handed him the book. Marcus, there's a question about market valuation here that I don't quite understand. Could you teach me? I actually understood the question, I just wanted to see his reaction. He took the book, glanced down at it, then raised his head and looked at me seriously. Sit, he said, pointing to a nearby chair. I obediently sat down. He began explaining to me, his voice deep and pleasant, his logic clear. I had to admit, a man concentrating on his work was truly charismatic. I rested my chin on my hand, gazing at his focused explanation, a little lost in thought. My wife's gaze is so focused on me. Is she captivated by my talent? She's so close. I can smell her scent, it's sweet, like milk candy. I really want to press her against the desk and kiss her. Cough, cough. I choked on my own saliva. He stopped explaining and looked at me with concern. What's wrong? And nothing, I waved my hand, my cheeks burning. Couldn't this man think about something proper for once? I understand now, thank you. I picked up the book, ready to make my escape. If I stayed any longer, I was afraid I wouldn't be able to resist pouncing on him. Wait a moment, he suddenly called out to me. I turned back and saw him take a velvet box from a drawer and hand it to me. What's this? Open it and see. I opened the box curiously, and inside lay a necklace. The necklace pendant was a beautiful pink diamond, exquisitely cut, sparkling brilliantly under the light. It was angel's hair, which I had seen before at an auction. At the time, I had only casually mentioned to Chloe that it was so beautiful, and I never expected. My wife said she liked it last time, so I bought it at the auction. It'll definitely look beautiful on her. Will she like it? Will she think I'm wasting money? What should I do? I'm so nervous. Looking at his feigned calm expression and the eyes that betrayed his nervousness, my heart felt a mix of tenderness and sweetness. It's beautiful. I love it, I said. His eyes instantly lit up. My wife said she likes it. That's great. Let me help you put it on. He stood up and came behind me, his cool fingertips brushing against my nape, sending a shiver down my spine. In the reflection of the desk's glass top, I saw he was very close, so close I could feel his warm breath. My wife's neck is so fair, and her collarbone is so beautiful. I really want to leave my mark there. I felt my ears burning hot. The moment the necklace was fastened, he didn't immediately move away. Instead, he leaned in and whispered in my ear, "Grace, it looks beautiful on you." His spoken voice and his inner voice had aligned for the first time. To celebrate my studio getting back on track, my best friend Chloe suggested we go play basketball. Her excuse was, life is about exercise. But I knew she just wanted to see handsome guys. I originally wanted to refuse, but Marcus, uncharacteristically, didn't work late that day and was also home. Chloe's eyes darted around, and she set her sights on him. "Mr. Marcus, why don't you join us? It'll be more fun with more people." I thought he would refuse, but to my surprise, he actually nodded, "All right. My wife's best friend is such a great wingman. This is the perfect chance to show my wife my athletic prowess. Basketball, my specialty. I must shine brightly in front of my wife today." I was speechless. So, the three of us, in high spirits, headed to the basketball court. The moment Marcus appeared, he drew everyone's attention. He took off his suit jacket, wearing only a black athletic vest, revealing his strong, defined arm muscles. At 188 centimeters, with broad shoulders, a narrow waist, and long legs, he was practically a walking embodiment of masculinity. "Holy cow! Grace, your husband's body is incredible," Chloe shrieked in my ear. I wholeheartedly agreed. Marcus quickly joined a team with a few guys on the court. The moment he stepped onto the court, the entire atmosphere of the game changed. Precise passes, clean steals, powerful dunks. He was like the king of the court, controlling the entire game's rhythm. Every score he made drew shrieks from the girls on the sidelines. Yet, after every point, his gaze would precisely cut through the crowd and land on me. That look carried a subtle hint of triumph and swagger. "Did you see that, my wife? Isn't your husband amazing? What are those girls screaming for? I didn't score for them. I scored for my wife." During halftime, he walked to the sidelines, grabbed a bottle of water, and guzzled it down. Sweat dripped down his sexy Adam's apple, disappearing into his vest. As if feeling hot, he casually lifted the hem of his vest to wipe away sweat. His perfectly defined 8-pack abs and the legendary V-cut were suddenly exposed to the air without warning. Ah! The screams from the sidelines were loud enough to blow the roof off. CHL. OE, even more excited, shook my arm vigorously. "Abs. Real abs. Live ones." I admit, I was thoroughly impressed too. After had savored the crowd's cheers, his gaze locked onto me once more, a meaningful smile playing on his lips. "My wife, these abs, I worked out for you. Want to touch them?" My face instantly flushed deep red. This man was way too good at flirting. In the second half, he played even harder. His final buzzer-beater three-pointer swished perfectly through the net. The entire court erupted. But amidst everyone's cheers, he walked straight towards me. He was still holding the basketball, his fringe wet with sweat, and his dark eyes gleamed brilliantly. He stopped in front of me, bent down, and placed the basketball into my arms. Then, under everyone's gaze, he cupped the back of my head with one hand, leaned in, and kissed me deeply. MMPH. I widened my eyes, my mind completely blank. The surrounding screams and cheers seemed to fade away. In my world, there was only the crisp scent between his lips and teeth, and his dominant yet gentle kiss. And that incredibly clear inner thought that exploded in my mind: "Grace, I like you." That kiss on the basketball court was like a bomb, blowing apart the unspoken tension between Marcus and me. From that day on, he no longer hid his affection for me. Though outwardly he still maintained his cool, aloof demeanor, his actions became incredibly clingy. That weekend, Arcadia City hosted a Renaissance fair. I'd always loved traditional culture, so I dragged Chloe along. I changed into a sky blue traditional period dress, styled a simple hair bun, and walked through the historic park holding a parasol, as if I had traveled through time. Chloe took a picture of me and posted it on her WeChat moments, with the caption, "My fairy has descended to Earth." Less than 5 minutes later, Marcus's call came in. "Where are you?" I told him my address. "Stay put." It was that familiar line again. Half an hour later, Marcus, dressed in a modern suit, appeared at the Renaissance fair, filled with people in traditional costumes. He looked out of place, yet incredibly eye-catching. The moment he saw me, he froze, staring fixedly at me without moving. Huh? Where were his inner thoughts? I looked at him curiously and saw his ears were completely flushed. After several seconds, his frozen inner thoughts finally rebooted. "Mom, I saw a fairy." "No, wait, that's my wife. How can she be so beautiful?" "No, I have to hide her, not let anyone else see her." He strode quickly towards me, took off his suit jacket, and without a word, draped it over me, wrapping me up snugly. "It's getting chilly, don't catch a cold," he said, his face expressionless. I was speechless. "Seriously, man, it's summer. It's over 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Chloe, beside me, was shaking with laughter. "Come with me." He took my hand and started walking out. "Where are we going?" "Home. Can't let anyone else see her. My wife's beauty is for my eyes only." His childish and possessive jealousy made me laugh. Back home, he pinned me against the wall in the entryway, lowered his head, and kissed me fiercely. This kiss was more urgent, more passionate than the one on the basketball court, filled with intense jealousy and possessiveness. It wasn't until I was almost breathless that he slightly loosened his grip, pressing his forehead against mine, his dark eyes gazing deeply into mine. "Grace." His voice was incredibly hoarse. Don't ever dress like this for others to see again. Only wear it for me to see. Seeing the swirling emotions in his eyes, my heart stirred, and I tiptoed up to actively kiss his lips. "All right," I mimicked his whisper in his ear, "from now on, I'll only dress like this for you." His body instantly stiffened. I thought that after breaking through that unspoken barrier, Marcus would directly confess his feelings to me. But to my surprise, he chickened out again. He was still incredibly good to me, attentive to every detail. He would prepare my favorite breakfast, pick me up from work, and buy me everything I liked. But that phrase, "I like you," never left his lips again. Only his daily inner thoughts were screaming wildly, "My wife, I love you. My wife, marry me." My wife got even prettier today. I want to kiss her, hug her, and lift her high. I decided this couldn't go on any longer. That evening, I cornered him in his study. He had just showered, wearing a loose bathrobe that revealed a large expanse of his muscular chest, his hair still dripping wet. Faced with such a tempting sight, I swallowed hard. "Is something wrong?" he asked, pretending to be calm as he dried his hair. "My wife came to my room. Is she going to do something to me? What should I do? Should I give in, or should I give in?" I cleared my throat and got straight to the point. "Marcus, let's talk." "About what?" "About our relationship." I walked up to him and looked directly into his eyes. "What exactly do you see me as?" He froze at my question, his gaze starting to dart away. "We're married," he mumbled. "She's the wife I want to take home. She's the person I love to my core." I smiled. "Just married?" I took a step forward, closing in on him until our knees touched. "Marcus, look into my eyes and tell me, how do you really feel about me?" He retreated step by step under my pressure, finally leaning back against the desk. His sapple bobbed. After a long pause, he finally squeezed out a sentence through gritted teeth. "I think we could try to develop a real relationship. I love you. I want to have kids with you." "Grace, you dummy." Hearing the frantic screams in his mind, I couldn't hold back any longer. I poked his chest with my finger, smiling like a cat that got the cream. "Oh? Just try to develop something?" I deliberately drew out my words, but I somehow hear someone's inner thoughts screaming that he loves me to death and wants to have kids with me. The air NTLY froze. The color drained from Marcus's face at a visibly rapid pace. He stared at me, eyes wide, as if he'd seen a ghost. His mouth opened and closed, but not a single word came out. His inner thoughts, which had been so rampant for an entire month, completely fell silent for the first time. She can hear? She's been able to hear all along? Holy hell. Watching his expression shift from shock to horror, then to utter despair, I laughed until tears streamed down my face. I stood on my tiptoes, leaned in close to his ear, and softly whispered, "Mr. Marcus, your inner thoughts are too loud." He completely froze. This was, without a doubt, a total public embarrassment. Marcus remained completely frozen for a full 5 minutes before he finally found his voice. When did you start?" he asked, his voice trembling. "The day we got our marriage certificate," I kindly reminded him. His face instantly turned a deep shade of crimson. All those audacious thoughts he had, about wanting to kiss me, hug me, and lift me high, I'd heard every single one? This is it, I can never show my face again. Should I just jump out of here right now? My cool, detached image in my wife's mind is completely shattered. Seeing him look as though he wanted to die but didn't dare, I almost choked with laughter. I took his hand and placed it on my cheek. "So, can you tell me your real thoughts now?" His hand was hot, so hot it made my heart tremble. He looked at me, complex emotions swirling in his eyes, embarrassment, regret, but most of all, barely contained affection. He took a deep breath, as if steeling himself for something. Since his cover was already blown, what was the point in pretending anymore? He suddenly swept me into his arms and tossed me onto the large bed behind us. Then, he leaned over me, pinning me securely in his embrace. "Grace," he said, glaring at me through gritted teeth, "you did that on purpose, didn't you? Did you enjoy making a fool out of me?" His internal monologue played in my mind. My wife is so naughty. Keeping it from me all this time. But I love it. I wrapped my arms around his neck, my eyes crinkling in a smile. Yes, it was a lot of fun. He was momentarily speechless, then he lowered his head and kissed me fiercely. This kiss was no longer tentative, no longer a surprise attack. It was open, honest, and unapologetic. He parted my lips and claimed possession, as if pouring all his longing and affection from the past few days into me through that kiss. When the kiss ended, we were both breathless. He burrowed into my neck, his voice muffled. "I like you, Grace. I've liked you since the first moment I saw you. It's not because of the compulsory act, not because of a 100% match score. I just like you." I could hear his heart pounding like a drum. His internal monologue was equally deafening. "I love her, I love her, I love her." I hugged him back, whispering into his ear, "Marcus, I like you too." His body stiffened, and he suddenly looked up, his eyes filled with unbelievable euphoria. My wife said she likes me too. Am I dreaming? So, I said, curling my lips, then leaned in and lightly licked his lips. "Can we do what legally married couples do now?" At that moment, his reason completely unraveled. "Your wish is my command, my dear wife." That night was long, very long. After I cleared the air, my life entered its sweetest phase. He completely let himself go, no longer pretending to be a cool, detached alpha CEO. In front of me, he was a clingy, affectionate, utterly possessive golden retriever. One day, Vance was holding an online launch event for a new product, personally hosted by Marcus. I watched the live stream from home. On screen, he was impeccably dressed in a bespoke suit, looking every inch the professional as he spoke eloquently, exuding the charisma of a successful man. The comments section was filled with shouts of "Hubby! Mr. Marcus is so handsome. I want to H. Ave kids with Mr. Marcus, ah, that austere charm, I'm dying." I pursed my lips. Austere? Do you misunderstand the meaning of that word? Just then, something unexpected happened. Due to a staff member's mistake, the live stream camera suddenly switched from the launch event to Marcus's study computer. Meanwhile, I had just finished showering, wearing a silk nightgown, humming a tune as I walked out of the bedroom, intending to go to the kitchen for a glass of water. And then, I made an unexpected appearance to tens of millions of viewers on the live stream. The air froze. The comments section also froze for 3 seconds. 3 seconds later, it exploded. Holy cow. What did I just see? A woman in a nightgown, is that Mr. Marcus's house? So who is that woman? Ah. My ship has sunk. I'm heartbroken. I was completely stunned at that moment, frozen in place, unable to move forward or back. Just as I stood there, utterly at a loss, Marcus, on the other side of the live camera, reacted instantly and stood up. He didn't turn off the live stream, nor did he offer any explanation. Instead, he strode quickly to the camera, and then, in front of tens of millions of viewers, he pulled me into his arms. He lowered his head and pressed a precious kiss onto my forehead. Then, he looked at the camera and, in a tone that unequivocally declared his claim, he said, word for word, "Allow me to introduce you to my wife, Grace." His internal monologue, laced with a mischievous smirk, echoed in my mind. Finally, I can tell the whole world you're mine. My face instantly burned scarlet. The live stream had completely crashed. The live stream announcement made Marcus's and my names trend for 3 full days. Hashtag CEO Marcus ties the knot early. Hashtag Mrs. Marcus is gorgeous. Hashtag my mandatory match is the sweetest. Hashtag new hashtags kept appearing one after another. Overnight, I went from being an ordinary person to the most envied woman online. However, some discordant voices soon followed. Attention seekers, claiming to be Marcus's ex-girlfriends or the one who got away, started causing trouble online, fabricating rumors that Marcus and I were having problems, and that I stole him from his true love. The most aggressive among them was an influencer named Angel. She posted several photos with Marcus, which were clearly photoshopped, claiming she was Marcus's true love and that I had stolen her place because of the compulsory act. Chloe was furious and wanted to get into a public feud on my behalf. I stopped her, because I knew there was no need for me to intervene. My jealous husband was more concerned about my reputation than anyone. Sure enough, that afternoon, Vance's official social media account issued a strongly worded cease and desist letter. It not only sued the influencer named Angel but also every single gossip account that had spread the rumors. Marcus himself, in an unprecedented move, even posted on social media. His account, which was never used for posts, shared a photo. The photo showed 2 marriage certificates, along with his hand intertwined with mine, both of us wearing matching wedding rings. The caption read, *mine, and only mine. At grace *, if anyone dares to harm a single hair on my wife's head, I'll make them regret it. His internal monologue, just like him, exuded dominance. Beneath that post, screaming fans erupted. * my heart can't take this. This is a heavenly romance. * Alpha CEO protecting his wife, it's deadly. That must be utterly humiliated, ha ha ha. That evening, Marcus returned home to find me curled up on the sofa, scrolling through social media. He walked over, hugged me from behind, and rested his chin on my shoulder. Not happy? No, I shook my head, turning to kiss his cheek. I just think my Mr. Marcus is truly handsome. My kiss made him absolutely thrilled, practically wagging his tail. My wife called me handsome. My wife kissed me first. Holding me, he whispered softly into my ear, if anyone bullies you again, just tell me. I'll handle it. Your world only needs sunshine and rainbows, I'll shield you from the storms. My heart felt full because of him. With a husband like this, what more could a woman ask for? Married life was simple yet sweet. Like any young couple, we'd argue in the kitchen in the morning over whose fried eggs looked better. He would clumsily try to cook my favorite dishes, often turning the kitchen into a battlefield. As for me, I'd teach him step by step, and when he was flustered, I'd wrap my arms around his waist from behind and secretly kiss his cheek. Every time this happened, his internal monologue would burst forth like a floodgate. My wife hugged me. My wife kissed me. Oh my god, I'm done for. This dish is too hard to learn, I'm never making it again. No, for my wife, I can learn anything. We also commissioned a very special pair of wedding rings. The rings had a built-in fingerprint lock, and only the other person's fingerprint could remove them. Marcus loved them dearly, taking my hand to check several times a day to ensure the rings were still there. What are you doing? They won't get lost, I said, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. He, however, was dead serious, speaking with conviction. This is our covenant, I must constantly confirm its validity. These are my wife's shackles, I need to keep a close eye on them. I was speechless. Could you rein in that possessive streak of yours? That day was our wedding anniversary. I thought he'd take me to some fancy restaurant for a romantic candlelight dinner. To my surprise, he brought me home instead. Then, from the safe, he took out a document. I looked closely. It was the prenuptial agreement we'd signed on the day we registered our marriage, the one stating mutual non-interference. Why are you bringing this out? I asked, puzzled. He picked up a pen and found the renewal terms section on the last page of the agreement. Then, instead of writing, he leaned down and pressed a deep kiss onto that section. He looked up, his dark eyes gleaming as he gazed at me, his voice deep and sensual. Grace, will you renew our contract for a lifetime, with a kiss? My heart was instantly struck. How could this man be so incredibly charming? I didn't answer with words, instead, I gave him my answer with action. I kissed him. With a kiss deeper and more passionate than his. I had always thought Marcus was invincible. Until that stormy night. That night, lightning flashed, thunder boomed, and the wind howled. Half asleep, I felt the person beside me trembling constantly. I opened my eyes, and by the light of the lightning outside the window, I saw Marcus with his eyes tightly shut, his face pale, his forehead covered in cold sweat. He clenched his fists, his body as taut as a drawn bow. I was startled. Marcus? What's wrong? I nudged him. He seemed to awaken with a start, his eyes snapping open, a lingering trace of fear in their depths. It's thundering, he said, his voice hoarse. Only then did I realize. So, Mr. Marcus, who feared nothing, was actually afraid of thunder? So embarrassing, my wife saw me so cowardly. Will she think I'm useless? Seeing his helpless and pitiful expression, my heart instantly melted. I pulled back the covers, wrapped him up completely, and held him tightly. I pressed his head against my chest, gently patting his back as if soothing a child. Don't be scared, I'm here. Under my soothing touch, his stiff body slowly relaxed. Like a scared puppy who found its safe harbor, he buried his face in my embrace, drawing comfort and security. My wife smells so good, so soft. With my wife here, thunder doesn't seem so scary anymore. That night, we slept in each other's arms. Outside, a wild storm raged. Inside our covers, there was peaceful tranquility. It was the first time I realized what it felt like to be depended on by him. I understood then how important my existence was to him. From then on, every time there was a thunderstorm, he would cling to me like a giant Klingon, never leaving my side. And I, willingly, became his safe harbor. Time flew by, and Marcus and I had been married for 3 years. Our life together, which began with polite but cold formality, had transformed into a lovey-dovey intimacy, filled with both comical moments and sweet warmth. He was still the cool, austere Mr. Marcus in front of outsiders, but with me, he was increasingly like an overgrown child. He would get jealous for an entire day just because I glanced at another man. That guy has such small eyes and a flat nose, how is he better looking than me? Is my wife's eyesight failing? When I was sick, he would clumsily take care of me, signing an emergency room chart with a hand that trembled more than when he signed multi-billion-dollar contracts years ago. My wife is sick, and it's all my fault for not taking good care of her. I'm so useless. We also developed many inside jokes and secret signals that only we understood. One look, and we knew what the other was thinking. His phone gallery was filled with my photos, from every angle, candid shots. Every step of his future plans included me. That day was the parent-teacher conference at the kindergarten. Our boy-girl twins, Leo and Mia, were already 3 years old. I attended alone because Marcus had an important international conference abroad. The teacher saw me alone and probably misunderstood, giving me a sympathetic look. Leo and Mia's mom, you must be working so hard. Just as I was about to explain, the meeting room door suddenly swung open. A travel-worn Marcus, still in the bespoke suit he hadn't had time to change out of, appeared at the doorway. A trace of fatigue was on his face, but his eyes shone with surprising brightness. He walked straight to my side, and in front of all the teachers and parents, he pulled me into his arms and imprinted a kiss on my forehead. Then, he picked up the microphone and announced to the entire room, with immense pride in his voice, I apologize for being late. I am Leo and Mia's father, and Grace's husband. The entire room erupted in murmurs. And I, looking at this man who had flown back overnight from an international conference just to make it to our children's parent-teacher conference, felt my eyes instantly well up. His internal monologue, as always, resonated in my mind, clear and warm. My wife, my children, my home. This is Marcus's most important pursuit in life. I squeezed his hand back, and we intertwined our fingers. I knew this man, cold on the outside but fiery on the inside, would dedicate his life to loving and protecting me. And I, likewise. For the rest of my life, through every storm and every calm, my deepest affection will always be for you. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.